Behind every great work of art is an even greater artist. And no artist is more synonymous with masterful paintings than Leonardo da Vinci. Hey there, art lovers! The Last Supper and the Mona Lisa are not Leonardo's only masterpieces. He was responsible for a number of incredible pieces during his lifetime, which is unusual because most wealthy Italians of the time would have commissioned such a large work to be done on a private residence. Unlike the Last Supper, the Mona Lisa was a private commission. It was painted for a wealthy silk merchant named Francis I, however. The painting was never delivered to him, but the results speak for themselves. They are two of the most famous and influential paintings in the history of Western art, and they continue to captivate viewers from around the world. So what do you think? Which painting do you like more? And what do you think Leonardo's creative process was like? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Instead, it remained in Leonardo's possession until his death, at which point it passed to King Francis I. The painting's fame grew over the years, thanks in part to the mysterious smile on the subject's face. What's so mysterious about that? Well, it's hard to say. There have been countless theories about what the woman in the painting is smiling at, but ultimately, it's up to the viewer to decide. Some believe that the Mona Lisa is an enigmatic representation of Leonardo himself. This theory is based on the fact that the sitter's left hand covers the area between her waist and chest, much like the way Leonardo is often depicted wearing his clothes. Additionally, the pose of the painting is reminiscent of a sculpture of the Greek goddess Athena that was located in Leonardo's workshop during the time he was working on the Mona Lisa. There are also several theories regarding the identity of the woman in the painting. One theory is that she was a self-portrait of Leonardo. A second theory is that she was a portrait of Leonardo's assistant, Francesco Melzi. And the last theory is that she was a portrait of a woman named Lisa Gherardini, who was the wife of a Florentine merchant. This last theory is the most popular one, but there is little evidence to support it. The fact that it was done on a wall meant that the painting could never be sold. According to records, Leonardo received payment for the painting in 3 installments, suggesting that it took him about 4 years to complete. However, some art historians believe that Leonardo worked on the painting for as long as 12 years, although there's no evidence to support this claim, which is probably why it ended up in the collection of a French king, and then eventually in the Louvre Museum, including the Vitruvian Man, the Lady with an Ermine, and the Virgin of the Rocks, just to name a few. Although he didn't invent the sfumato technique, he was known for perfecting it. If you're unfamiliar with this technique, it's basically a painting technique that involves softening the outlines of a subject to make it blend seamlessly into the background. He used this technique to great effect in several of his most famous paintings, giving them a hazy, dreamlike atmosphere that has captivated viewers for centuries. In today's episode, Leonardo da Vinci began work on the Last Supper sometime around 1495 and completed it 4 years later. It depicts the moment when Jesus announces that one of his disciples will betray him. The painting is famous for its dramatic use of perspective and its portrayal of the disciples' emotional reactions. Leonardo was so meticulous in his attention to detail that he even painted the hands of every single disciple, making sure that none of them were exactly alike. This painting is also notable because it contains possibly the most famous optical illusion in the history of Western art. If you look closely at the painting, you may have noticed that Mary Magdalene looks like she's reaching out to touch Jesus' hand, but it's actually impossible for her to do so because his hand is placed behind her shoulder. This illusion is created by the way Leonardo painted the perspective of the scene. He made Mary Magdalene appear closer to Jesus by making her face and hands smaller and more distant. He also used a technique called forced perspective, which involves placing objects closer to the viewer to make them appear larger and more important. By using these techniques, Leonardo was able to create a sense of depth and realism in the painting that has never been equaled. LLB talking about the one and only Leonardo da Vinci, and how long it took him to paint his 2 most famous works, the Last Supper and the Mona Lisa. Before we get into it, however, let's get back to those 2 famous paintings. The Last Supper is an oil painting on a plastered wall. Next up is the Mona Lisa. So, how long did it take Leonardo to paint the Mona Lisa? Both the Last Supper and the Mona Lisa took Leonardo years to complete. If you love unraveling the genius behind legendary art, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more mind-blowing stories, and let me know in the comments, are you Team Mona Lisa or Team Last Supper? Let's talk art.